Good morning. A little earlier than I usually get to work. It's, 10:30, when I'm usually not starting until 1. I do work in the mornings, just not necessarily in the shop. I'm usually on the computer or running, doing a grocery run or replying to emails, uploading a video, that sort of thing. But can't do my grocery runs right this morning because at some point since the last grocery run I did, somebody knocked into the charger on my bike, knocked the cord loose, so I got no power. Hence my coat and scarf and hat and everything dropped off here while I was frustrated and upset. And my cane sitting on the table instead of hanging on the wall where it belongs. I'm not using it. But let's get to this outfit. We got 2 things left I can do right now. I have the material, a little bit of black spandex here. I have to make an almost shoulder length glove. Yeah, I can do that, that's no problem. Got to make shoulder length gloves, so everything will be covered up to here. And I got to make thigh-high stockings, so everything will be covered up to here. Just want to show a little bit in there. Also, that'll provide a little more compression and get rid of this rough texture. At least in part. And I'll cover up the socks, which is probably the most important part. So I got that. The other thing I could do, depending, haven't decided quite yet, is I got enough heavier black material here that'll have a little bit of rigidity to it, so I can make tiny hatsu. Well, except that one, which I was testing zigzag stitch on. Well, I can use that much of it. So I'll take some measurements and make that decision, and then start working. Oh, point of note. Seeing as she's going to be here, and in one outfit, I figured I've got a couple unfinished pieces that will fit her dimensions. I may as well finish them as doll clothes to the point where I could put them on her, which means this lovely little sunflower corset, and partly finished, but a lot of modification on this one. Modifications were never completed. Part of a dance costume, which I did have on her at one point. It does fit her, surprisingly. But I can finish that. I can finish this. And she'll have a little bit of a more diverse wardrobe. But I'll start working on that and see where we get to. So, let's do a little bit of math here to teach you how to do spandex math. Whatever the measurements are, you minus 1/3 from them. Roughly 1/3. So in this case, the widest part on the foot is around the ankle, and the circumference is 13 inches. We gotta do spandex math, we minus 1/3 roughly, so we're gonna do it minus 4. So that'll be 9 inches. So that's the total width for the stocking. There's the soap. Soap leaves marks just as good as chalk, especially on a black material. So that's where that has to be. That wide. But down here, it's 13, which equals 9. Next one up, gotta measure the calf. Calf turns up to 16. Measure a rough or minus a rough third, so we'll make it 11. 16 equals 11. How far up is that? We're minus a third from that too. That's 23 up. From 21 up would be minus 7. So 23 minus 7 is 16. (23 equals 16. Up from the calf is the thigh. Measure that up. It measures 12, which would be 8. So and the top line, circumference of the thigh. I'll try not to cover muffin tops. 22, which would again be 16. So our measurements are 22, 16, 13, 12 distance, and 23 distance. Our cutting measurements are 16, 11, 9, 8, and 16. Yeah. Big difference. That's why spandex is so difficult. So I'll mark those out and cut them, and then she'll have stockings. You'd seen me on the serger before, so I wasn't going to show you that. You've seen me dealing with spandex before, so I wasn't going to show you that. But now we have a fully dressed katsu. Other than the boots, but I am not spending $400 or more on a pair of demonias to fit her. So she's going to be just in her stockings for a while. Or for the foreseeable future. And she ain't taking my boots, because, they're not going to fit her. But, all in all, not too bad. Unfortunately, because the fingers don't separate, she's basically wearing a mitten on her hands. That's fine. Looks a little better than it did. From the neck down, well, from the eyebrows down, it's not bad. Does what it's supposed to do. Still got to do the hair whenever I can afford wigs, and still got to do the hat. I did, however, find a roll of a rather rigid material I can make tiny hatsu out of. So that's the next step of the project. Talk to you next time.